Mistake number one, she's too good for me.
Oh, I like that. I'm loving that you're doing this because I made this so long ago, I forgot, like, what was in here, to be honest. Yeah, so she's too good for me. So this is a mistake a lot of men do when they focus on just her beauty sometimes, or, she's a great powerhouse in work, or how she shows up in life and travels in the world. We go into the self-fulfilling prophecy of, she's too good for me, so I have to make this work. This is my only chance. But instead looking at it as, "Oh, wow, this girl's attracted to me. All right, I'm doing something right. This is opening up the container for possibly other women just like her to be attracted to me too." So now you're setting yourself aside from self-approval on her end to looking at, let me see how she shows up. Because if she doesn't show up the right way and if she's not aligned with my values, I can attract another woman just like her. But when it's like this, we go into that self-approval prophecy where it's like, I gotta make this work.
It's putting men back in that power seat, right? As you're a chooser just as much as she is. The kind of what we talked about at the beginning. I love that so much. So we got mistake number two, diving in head first when there's only 3 feet of water.
Ooh, I like this one. So I have a tagline that I say, it's always like, pacing is the root of attraction, right? That's my number one thing. I always say that. I should trademark it one day. I say pacing is the root of attraction. This is exactly why. Because if you dive in, basically, if you try to speed the retraction process up, you're going to hit your head and you're going to fail. No one dives in 3 feet of water because you know you're going to hit your head and you're going to fail and you're going to knock out and session over, basically, right? But if we're taking our time to swim to the deep end, and then figuring things out and then taking the opportunity to dive into the deep end, then we're doing things right. And that's what that's talking about in there, is like attracting a woman effortlessly, while meaning effortlessly means by time. And the only way we're able to do that is understanding that dating is an assessment process. And that's why I always try to get men to get out of, let me show her what I'm about, but instead, let me see what she's about.
I love that so much. All right, moving along. Number three, setting the wrong date and dating mistakes.
Oh, yeah. Okay, this is where I come into my woman. This is not even a coach. Do not in a million years ask a woman where to go. Don't ask her to how much is free parking if there's free parking around you. Don't ask her to figure out the details. Don't ask her go back and forth. Well, I don't know. I do like Mexican, but I really want an Italian and da 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 da. The indecisiveness in the beginning is an instant turn on. Turn off for a woman. Excuse me. A man with the plan is a man that wins, basically, at the end of the day. A woman will always tell you, "Hey, no, I'm sorry, like, I don't like Mexican. Is there any way we can do something else? Maybe XYZ," right? But obviously in planning the date, you're gonna ask her, what time works the best for you, and things like that. But when it comes to decision making, just make the decision. Okay, as a woman, this is how women think, guys. Don't knock me for it. I always say the truth. This is exactly how women think. If I'm working so hard on how I look and my appearance and showing up in this beautiful dress and my makeup done and my hair done, I don't want to do any more work than I have to already done because it already took me an hour to get ready.
Decision
Right?
fatigue. Yeah, I mean, there's
Yeah.
decision fatigue is going to sit in.
Yeah, exactly. So there we
No,
go.
I love that, and it's allowing the woman to fall into her feminine. Like she wants to be led, and if you can't lead from the gate on the first date, she's right out of the gate. She's like, this dude's not going to be able to lead me anywhere. In chaos, he's not going to be able to handle because he can't operate in peace. I love that so much.
And it's not because we just say it. It's because we've been through it. Like, you know how many dates that's happened to me and they were all horrible? Like almost 100% of them. I went on a good date, as a blind date with someone my friend thought it was like a best thing ever. And he was complaining for 45 minutes about how there was no free parking downstairs in my apartment. Like, because we were going to walk to the restaurant. And I was like, I can't believe this is happening right now. I just want to cancel, but he's already downstairs. I feel bad. And it ended up being the worst date because he was just so emotionally immature. He couldn't hold a conversation with me. He was making judgmental things about other people in the restaurant comments, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I need to go." And so that's why I said it, 'cause it's not like we're doing it intentionally, it's just because 9 times out of 10, like, we didn't listen to our intuition and we wanna be led, and so we know if a man's being intentful, it starts with leading us, and we know that he's gonna be intentful on the date, and we're gonna have a better time.
Yeah, I love that. This next one I think is going to be difficult for a lot of people because we live in a world where nobody communicates other than through text. But common mistake number 4, overly texting.
Mhm. Setting the tone. You do not try to get a woman. I mean, you do not try to get to know a woman through text. Okay, so I always say texting, you have to use it as a resource, also to build a little bit of banter, if you can, after the date, and then planning the date, right? Check in, light banter, planning dates. If you do those 3, you're good. But you'll notice you'll have a lot of women that like to text. If you are a man that doesn't like to text, because that's okay, you blatantly tell her, listen, I'm a horrible texter. I am busy throughout the day. I would love to text you, but how about we just get on a call tonight, or I'll just text you tonight and we have a little bit of a combo. As long as you're setting the tone and you're not doing all day, every day, forgetting about your job, da 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 da, it'll work out.
Well, yeah, I'd be curious what is a woman thinking with, a guy that's, replying to every text within 30 seconds, like, throughout the day. Like if we're supposed to be on purpose, we're supposed to be creating, leading, doing good for other people, whether it's in our business or at our job. We shouldn't always have the phone readily available. I got to assume like the woman's subconscious is like, this guy, like he doesn't have much going on because he's always readily available and responsive to me.
Yeah, that's definitely if it's a very off it's like a it's a prominent thing that's happening, like if you're always doing it. But, when a woman is attracted to a man and he texts her and he's like, "Hey babe, was thinking about you. Hope your day is going good." That's like cake for a woman, right? Like we can't take that essence away,
Yeah, of
right?
course. Yeah.
So, like, I don't want men to think like they can't do that. That's like a good one. But I think what we're talking about more is like when she's trying to have a conversation with you and you're working and not always replying. That's where I'm saying is like just drawing the line and be like, hey, I have a meeting for a couple hours, or I need to really focus on job application. If you don't have to tell her what you're doing, but it's about choosing your moments and saying, is this text message taking me away from something I need to do today and push forward with today? Yes. All right. This means I need to wait to respond,
Mistake
even if
number
it can work
5. Yeah,
out.
yeah, yeah. Mistake number 5. I'm definitely hoping you bring some clarity to this one. Following the rules. What rules?
Following the rules, oh, that's why, yeah, that's my thing. So, okay, so in there, I think I talk about I haven't made this in a while. Can you give me the first sentence of what I said in that?
Yeah,
Do you
so
have it?
there are so many metaphors, and that's the black book. What's the name of the book again? I honestly think that's the worst book
Oh,
ever
yes,
written
yes,
because
yes.
the behavior suggests a man to completely unnecessary, brings out narcissistic behaviors. Oh, yes, the
I get it.
game.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Okay, The Black Book, the Game. Yes. So I think that that was a good book on the side of confidence for men, for sure. But what happens is what men start to do, and you see this, Frank, I need rule number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then number 7, Apollonia. What do I say? This is means I get the girl.
Yes.
That's what I mean by that. Is like you can't follow rules. You embrace attraction to you and what you want and your needs. But it's not about following a specific thing. I've literally seen men write down, okay, step 1, flirting. I have to make sure I have emotional connection. Step 2 on their hand and they'll look at it on a date, but you're not present. So that's why I say like following rules, what rules? There's a difference between understanding it and embracing it when the time is right within yourself, and then there's a difference between understanding it on a logical level and thinking, "Okay, checked off, I did that on the date. Next one, check off," right? That's what I mean on that one.
Yeah, no, it goes back to what we talked about at the beginning, or not at the beginning, but kind of midway when you were talking about your husband. This is just who he naturally is. He's reached that unconscious competence where he just shows up and he's just a masculine allows you to fall into that. He's not operating out of a rule book. What does Apollonia need me to do right now? It's like, no, he just knows. So no.
Yeah, he's like, I'll be like, "I need this from you, babe. This is my rule." "Rule? Please. I'll tell you when I need that too then. If you wanna play this game, I'll tell you when and he has fun with it too. That's because he's embracing it. Mhm.
Maybe this one we can give some tips on how to stay out of it. But common mistake number 6, falling into the friend zone.
Ooh, so not showing intent, men. You always have to make your intent known with a woman. Okay. Example. One of my guy friends, Emil, he will never show me intent because he's my guy friend. He's my best friend. He's in the friend zone happily, obviously, because I'm married and we have this great relationship as friends. He's like my brother, right? So the difference is you have to separate yourself from a brother, a cousin, a father. What would those men do and say to her? A lot of men try to keep it even keel and they don't call a date a date. They don't show interest in a woman on another level of I want something more from her because they think, oh, if I do it, I'm going to be needy, or if I do it, I'm going to be creepy, or if I do it because they're not in tune with their sexual also nature. And this happens a lot with getting into the friend zone. The number one thing that they do is become overly nice. And typically, when they're overly nice, is because they have a troubles showing intent, why they are there in the first place.
Yeah. No, I love that. And the last one here, the savior complex. When to let her pay and overgifting.
Yeah. So savior complex is what we talked about a little bit in the beginning is if I can control this situation, that means that I'll help her and she'll like me, right? Like if I show her that I'm just this great man and I continue to help her and give her gifts and take her on nice vacations, buy her a handbag, then she's going to see that I'm the best guy ever. But what happens in a woman's mind is we're like, what did I do that was so special that this man is giving me all this and doing all this for me? So we start questioning our own reality of what type of man do we really have in front of us? Like, who is he that he just fell for me so easily? Right? Because it's not women, it's people, it's human dynamics. We always want something we have to work for, always. And that's the key to your relationship is a lot of people think, oh, because I'm human, I just deserve love. No, absolutely not. Love is something you have to work for, just like your job, just like your career. I mean, just like your career, just like your podcast that you have, just like, um, your speeches, whatever it is, right? We always have to work for something. But where we don't correlate is we think it's games in relationship, but it's actually you have to look at it as healthy understanding of human dynamics and how we work. And once we do, that can start to go away.